So it's literally taking me until the 18th of October to finally play a horror game. I wasted the entire month of Spooktober not playing horror games. It baffles me. I mean, I technically did play more of a thriller game from, which was, The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. But I don't really count that. I feel like it's more of a thriller. So, basically, it's taken me until the 18th of Spooktober to finally play a horror game, which is kind of upsetting. But I digress. This is Just Ignore Them, a psychological point-and-click adventure game developed by Strange Games and published by Retalika Games. In this game, you play Mark, a boy who's been chased and harassed by monsters since he was 8 years old after the disappearance of his father. Now, this game takes place 20 years after this. This is just the prologue, as you may or may not figure out, and which Mark is still dealing with being chased by the monsters of his past, in which he eventually will confront them and finally put a stop to all this madness. Now, as for the game itself, it's point and click. It's very simple to explain. You know, I don't need to go too far into the features of it, but it's very strange. I have a weird dilemma about this game, I gotta say. As a fan of horror, it's one of my favorite genres, especially in the video game department, because there's so much more involvement as the player than you were if you were to watch a horror film. So I tend to get a bit more critical about horror games than I do typically any other one. And the first thing I often judge when I hear it's a horror game is if it's scary. And most of them typically aren't, and I usually accept that, but this one's a little bit more concerning for me. This one, it's very, very light on horror. Like, there's not much of it. Quite honestly, in this prologue here, that's all you really get. There's no fear of death. It actually plays more like a movie, as the developer himself actually had said in a description of his game. It's more of a movie. There's not really much of a game, to be fair, besides the elements of point and click, which doesn't necessarily bother me. But you know, it's technically supposed to be a horror title. It's supposed to be at least scary or try to be scary, but I think it falls short on that regard. So I don't like it for that reason. But despite all that, I still like it for the sake of its story. There's a nice aura of mystery present that always keeps me, like, wondering what's going on and what these creatures are. Until the very end, which everything kind of gets explained. And I don't think this is a great game, but I can see the potential of what it is right now. There's good enough lore that makes this title still enjoyable, and it leaves itself open just enough for a potential sequel, which I do sincerely hope for, because I do like this. And I want to see what can be done with this, because I see a lot of potential of what the creator of this game can do, and I do hope for that. As for the achievements regard, because you know it's a Retalika game, usually they're typically easy. This one actually really is. It probably took me like 3 to 4 runs, I would say, to get all the achievements on it. I imagine it took me about an hour to run through the first time, and then I think I halved that time the second time, and then it got less and less as time went on. I think I might have made 5 to 6 total playthroughs, because after I got the achievements, I actually discovered there were some hidden collectibles in the form of cassette tapes. There's 3 of them, if you're curious, which gives you a little bit extra incentive to hope that there is going to be a sequel, which, I mean, if the lovely developer of this game is watching, just know I like your game and I want to see a sequel to see how much it can get better. So, overall, I say the story is very interesting as its pro. That's its good pro is the story is strong despite some of its minor hiccups I see here and there. Some things don't make sense to me too much. And my overall con with it is it's just not scary enough. I think more could have been done. And I see potential because they don't. There's not much really there's not much fully in detail explained about these monsters other than their appearance and what some of them are. And there's so much more to work with, I feel. Because I don't know if I want to call it a psychological horror title, because there's not much psychological about it, I would say. It's not even that scary, really. So I want to see. I would love to see more with it if a sequel is in the works or planning. Like, I have good faith in it. But I guess for scoring's sake, because we need to put scores, I would say, due to the story alone, I would give it an honest 6.5. It's not that I hate this game, it's just when I see a horror game, I expect there to be more horror, and the story is good enough, I should say, but I feel like there's so much missed opportunity in this title, and I want to see it continue, which is why I really hope for a sequel. And honestly, I see so much potential, and I would love it if this was if there was more for this. And I really do look forward to what Stranger Games, who I believe is just one individual, so I understand the need for the limitations of being a solo developer. So I do hope that any success that you take from this title will be beneficial for your sequel. And with that, I would like to thank Stranger Games, because I see so much potential, and I really do sincerely hope that there is more to be done with this in its next entry.